What's going on, y'all? Top of the morning. Hope y'all get the invites. YouTube been messing with me lately, so yeah, I ain't throwing enough salacious for y'all or something like that. I don't know. I'm just getting myself together here. It's early right now, so it's my Sunday. I'm cooling. Hope I look alright. You know what I'm saying? Video appropriate for y'all and everything. So I want to talk about Lil Boosie real quick, and I hope you guys can hear me very clearly and listen to this message. I want to tell y'all one thing before I get into it. Yesterday, I actually did a string-a-thon. I think I'm gonna do another one today, trying to raise, funds to get the hell up out of here. And let me tell y'all about Lil Boosie. See, there's a lot of things going on about Lil Boosie. We want to tell Lil Boosie, get well soon. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going down in Texas right now. And evidently, everything is bigger than Texas, like they say, including the gunshots. So if you don't know, Lil Boosie yesterday, he makes the fourth victim this week, rap related, that has either been shot at, shot, or killed. Four. Now I find it ironic that, and I said this yesterday, I find it ironic that this past week, which was on Saturday or Sunday, I was telling y'all can go back and look at the videos, I was telling y'all, listen, there's something in the air with the music and it's causing a certain vibe. I went into it with musical theory with y'all to tell y'all, hey, listen, this is why some people are acting the way they're acting. It's because of certain octaves, certain chords, etc. in the music. Y'all ain't believe me. Y'all said, oh, he just talking, blah, 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 blah. He just mad about Puff. Okay. 4 rappers, 2 killed and 2 injured in 1 week. And y'all don't think the question is that? I tried to tell y'all before, a lot of this has to do with a lot of cats not seeing the residuals and the incomes that they once did before the pandemic. So Lil Boosie's, yeah, you're right. A lot of rappers are getting blood. It's not a blood sacrifice. Stop that blood sacrifice crap. If you've never been in the industry, stop that blood sacrifice and all the. I'm gonna get into that too, but because you don't know what you're talking about, you're making assumptions. This has nothing to do with blood sacrifices or any of that stuff that y'all talking about. Trust me, I know. Does that stuff exist? Yeah, it does. Does it exist with rappers? No, it doesn't. So that's not real. I'm not going into that. I'm not doing the tit for tat with you. All right? We'll talk to that about that later. What I want to tell you guys is this: from somebody that's been in the industry, knows the industry, someone that has sat there, helped promote the albums, helped produce that. I've been in the forays and in the trenches of this, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. For that one person who want to ask questions and get all confrontational, bye. The point is, and I'm not doing this off of the hype, I'm trying to tell y'all something, and y'all not listening. It's like the way y'all can form information, some of y'all just don't get it. Y'all wait till, like I said before the beginning, y'all wait till after it happens. Mo 3 was killed in Texas. We have King Vaughn that was killed on Sunday in Atlanta. We have Boosie that was now shot in the leg with his Sprinter band getting shot up. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wanted to make sure I got the details. So my one man that follows me, one of my followers, he's actually in Texas. And he told me, he said, was at a chicken restaurant. I couldn't believe it. I said, how ironic is that? Somebody gets shot at a chicken restaurant in Texas? But evidently these boys, they ran up on Boosie, shot up the van, whatever. Boosie was subsequently hit in the leg. I heard he's doing fine. He's going to be all right. Jprince, you were just recently on Revolt TV and you gave a remarkable interview. Trust me, I watch everything. You know what I'm saying? You gave a remarkable interview. And that's not promoting Revolt TV or whatever. But shout out to Dia over there. You know what I mean? It's me professional. This is the problem. This is going to get worse. A lot of rappers are not touring right now. The streets are not eating right now. People are in pandemic stage right now. A lot of people are getting ready to go back into lockdown right now. It's getting ready to get ugly. Milwaukee is talking about going back and entering into a lockdown phase. New York is talking about entering back into a lockdown phase, which they partially have done so far with rolling back the quarantine exceptions or whatever so you can go back into society. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can look all this information up yourself. You ain't got to take my word for it. But I'm going to tell y'all one more time. The links are in the description if y'all want to donate or whatever. I know y'all a little tight. Y'all like everything for free. But that's cool. I'm going to give it to y'all for free. You know what I mean? This is my part of me. The problem is right now, blessing, Divalicious. The problem is right now, it is nobody out here moderating the streets. There's nobody out here telling these young boys what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. Thank you, Divalicious. Cash App, $StringerBell. $StringerBell80. Thank you. Nobody's telling these young boys what to do. On my own, and I got witnesses for this, for years before any of this stuff started happening, I was doing the same thing. I was going out there, I was telling young boys. I got young boys that come up to me now as adult men and be like, yo, I'm so glad you told me what you told me, so I didn't end up in jail, or I didn't end this. And two of them, including my man Fortune and another one of them, those two have real good jobs now. And they said, yo, I owe a lot of that to you. And I appreciate that. I got young boys in New York City that say the same thing to me. And I'm not that old. They were just born young to young mothers. I'm talking to the men right now. And when I mention Jprince's name, Jprince, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We are not familiar with each other, Jprince. But I am familiar with a lot of people that you dealt with. You know what I'm saying? And I will tell you this. The only people that can stop this right now, because it's going to turn up. See, what's going to happen is, let me show you the order of things that are going to happen. First, they're going to try to interview Quando Wando and get his side of the story involving King Von. Then they're going to try to interview homeboy that was in traffic. I forgot what his name was during the Mo 3 shooting. They're going to try to interview him. This is the normal go-to. You understand? After that, they're going to try to interview Lil Boosie. More preferably, Boosie going to be over there with Blog TV like he always is. You understand what I'm saying? Which anybody can have a toss-up and a 50-50 on that. You know, I think some Blog TV interviews are good, and some Blog interviews are basically on the guests and telling what they want to tell and snitching how they want to snitch on themselves most of the time. One of the things that stuck out to me was several people went live after the shooting. People showed up at the shooting and everything like that, and I'm guilty of it too. I went up to a triple shooting the other morning not knowing what was going on. Just so y'all could get the footage, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not appreciated. I know that, so it's nothing. It's nothing. I do this for the people that do come here and do want to mess with me and do like to hear what I want to hear what I have to say every morning, and I get this out to them. So I don't need thousands upon people to do that. The funny thing is, Jprince, in my opinion, is the only person that can stop this right now. Jprince is the only person that can actually get into the trenches and be like, look here. He's like that uncle in Texas. You know what I'm saying? OG, uncle, Coleon, whatever. But I think the intervention of him, I think the intervention of artists like Drake, I think the intervention of people that are a little bit more successful and a little bit more older can quell this. Because all this is happening with young boys. Grand Rise and Patrice Gardner. This is happening with young boys. That's what y'all not understanding. And even though Bootsy's not a young boy, and I don't know the people that shot Bootsy, I can guarantee you this. It was probably some young heads that got at Bootsy. You know what I mean? These young heads, they don't give a fuck about you. They care about you if you are OG and you still rising. Yeah, very young guys. See there, Michelle before just said that. Good morning to you. You know, it was some young boys that did that. I don't even have to get the info on that one. I don't know no suspects, none of that. That ain't what I do. You know what I mean? So don't ask me none of that silly shit. Do you know if they found anybody? Do you know da? But right now, Jprince, and I'm gonna say this again, Jprince is historical for quelling beefs. Jprince is historical for stopping people from doing dumb things. Jprince is historical for telling y'all a lot of things that y'all don't want to hear. But I'm gonna tell you this much. If Jprince don't intervene, and this is out to you, Jprince, and I hope you see this. I hope somebody share it to your page, somebody share it to your Instagram, somebody share it to your Facebook. Share this with him and let him know that I said this. Tell him it's coming from one of Puff's old boys. You know what I'm saying? And you were just on Revolt, talking about your celebrations and your wins and everything. Jprince, I'm going to try to tell you something. I hope you're listening. If you don't intervene in this, even behind closed doors, don't do it in front of the cameras, don't do it in interviews, don't make no announcements, don't tell everybody that Coleon Genovese coming back, don't do all that regular routine you do, because they not going to understand what you're talking about. They don't come from that period. Jprince, this is what you need to do, and I'm going to give you instructions on what you need to do. You need to get up, you need to get about 5 or 6 of your artists, and you need to take your artists with you and stomp through the streets. I'm talking about walk through the streets of Texas with your artists and see what the vibe is. I know you go to clubs. Well, I don't know about clubs right now. I know you do a couple of things out in public, but that's what you need to do right now. You need to walk through these streets and speak to these men and make sure you got some people with some that thing on them. You know what I mean? Just in case things go rowdy. And I'm going to say this to a lot of other rappers, too, that are older rappers that y'all now in y'all 50s, mid-50s, and headed to 60. Y'all need to get in the streets. See, what y'all don't understand is, and I know this because a lot of y'all, see, let me tell y'all something that's different from me, from a lot of other people. I'm a two-time felon. I don't never put that out to y'all or whatever, whatever. So a lot of people be like, well, why didn't you get a job here? Da, 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 da. I'm unlike them niggas. You understand what I'm saying? I actually had a story before I got with them. I made the paper, front page paper 2 times. I got caught with 183 grams of cocaine, which was small fries now, but back then it was a big deal. So I have 2 felonies on my record. It was actually Bad Boy Entertainment that saved my life, to be quite honest with you. If I hadn't got with them that day, I probably would have had a 3rd time that I would have been in jail. You understand what I'm saying? And thank God I wasn't. But unlike a lot of them cats up there, they don't have felonies. They wasn't really in the streets. They wasn't really doing things in the streets. They wasn't really, you know what I mean? So I know about that life. Like, I lived it. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm one of the few of authentic dudes that actually did live it. I was a dude that hid the burner. I was a dude that held the burner. One time I got patted down by police with the burner on me and they didn't find it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Panama for showing me how to do that and stuff that shit right in between the back of your joint. And the other tip is always wear 2 belts. You understand what I'm saying? Always wear 2 belts. If you wear 2 belts, it hold that goddamn it up. You see? So, I learned that a long time ago from one of my mans. The problem is, a lot of these rappers that y'all seeing, they got these guns and getting guns from older heads or whatever, because they just had some boys in Brooklyn just recently. They got arrested and they were like 40, 50 something years old for selling guns to young boys in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? It's public knowledge, so it ain't like somebody snitching or something. So y'all get that confused too. Public knowledge is being able to address things that are already out in the public. I knew Boosie had gotten shot last night. And I said, let me wait for the details come in before I go on to this. Jprince, you need to hit the streets. You need to hit the streets ASAP. Here's a message to the rest of y'all old rappers, you old moguls, you old CEOs that talk so broadly about yourself, jump into pools, do TikTok videos and all that stuff or whatever. Your young people is dying and they killing each other. These boys ain't going to shoot up Trump. How can nobody shut up Trump Tower? Nobody's going to shoot up any of these right-wingers. Nobody's going to shoot up any of these white people that set these rallies. They had a pro-Trump rally yesterday in D.C. They dragged in every last hillbilly you can think of on that section of the Trump vote. I ain't seen no black people down there shooting at them. I ain't seen no black people shooting at anybody else that said anything else about black people or Spanish people. Why? You know why they ain't saying nothing? Because they scared. They scared, and I keep telling y'all they scared. How come nobody jumped out the car and went after all them Klan members and all them people, far right wingers down there in Texas? Alex Jones live in Texas. Alex Jones has said whatever he wanted to say about people of color and everything else numerous times. Ain't nobody roll up on him. Matter of fact, Texas is an open to carry state just like Arizona. They know who to run up on and who not to run up on. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And it's a lack of fear that lets them do that. Boosie is a multi-millionaire. Boosie takes care of his kids and everything else. So why was Boosie in Texas? Everybody's saying for Mo3's funeral. That's the word I get. You know what I'm saying? But that's a quick funeral. I don't know. But I know him and Mo3 were tight. I don't know what capacity they were tight at or whatever the case may be, but they were tight. So the story as it goes right now is that Boosie was down there for Mo3's funeral, whatever the case may be, I don't know, but RIP to Mo3, RIP to King Von too. I mean that sincerely from the heart, you know what I'm saying? Because these boys were both too young. I watched some videos of both King Von and I watched some videos of Mo3 because I wanted to get a little hints of their personalities. I'm going to say for Mo3, I'm going to start with him first. Because he was a little bit more vocal, I thought, than I think King Von was. King Von, to me, was more of like a quiet type. He might have been a shy kid when he was a little kid, and he just evolved into something else. Usually that comes from hanging around with other guys or whatever the case may be. But with Mo3, I saw something a lot different. I was watching the videos with Mo3. I watched several of them, including one that they had made a few hours before he had gotten killed. And he was in the video, the talk that he was using was almost condescending with almost 2 females arguing with each other to me. And they were calling each other name back. He was calling the names more so in the video. And he was like, yo, you old da-da-da-da-da type mom. I want to get flagged, so that's why I'm talking like this. Or you da-da-da-da-da-da. You should look up to King Von Dad. I don't know what that means. But the point I'm getting at is he was a little passive aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And he said some things in that video that was made a few hours after he got killed that would give people the assumption, at the very least, that somebody was after him. He knew somebody was after him. He wasn't scared of nobody. He was calling people all kinds of chumps and everything else or whatever in the video. This is what I heard. That's all I'm saying. I listened to it, so that's what I heard. A few hours later, he was shot and killed. You understand what I'm saying? On the highway. Now, the funny thing also about this video that kind of piqued my interest was that it seemed like he was directing the words to somebody and they just didn't respond, or he knew something was going to happen, which happens a lot of times. You know, a lot of times there's a lot of things go on the back scenes where somebody is texting this person, or this person got a secret account, or you can't see certain Instagram posts or certain Facebook posts or certain whatever social media outlet you use. But in reality, the artist or the other person has seen the video that is intended for them to see. And they like, all right, yo, cool. On site then. This is the mentality. Now, this mentality is not a locality mentality. I've lived in Miami. I've lived here in Connecticut. I lived in New York, which I just recently came back from. I've lived in Cali. This is a universal mentality now that's orchestrated by the tone and the pitch of the music and the way that these kids' undeveloped minds and their dopamines react to this. Their minds most of the time are not mature enough to make an articulate decision of whether or not to flight or fight. And it's usually the lack of their own parents that do so. You understand what I'm saying? So let's not make no excuses here. All right, you got a lot of 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, all the way up to 45-year-old mothers and fathers that out here that actually encourage the behavior. You understand what I'm saying? So let's take a little note and let's point at y'all for a minute. Let's step off the kids and let's talk about these old parents. Now, I know a lot of y'all gonna run off here because I'm talking about the parents and it might feel something personal with you. Go ahead and do that. That just lets me know I was talking about you. But for the ones that stay in here, y'all need to listen to this, especially if you have a son or a daughter. Okay? Now listen to me very carefully. The behaviors that you have had, both past and present, have influenced towards the demise of your children. You want me to say that one more time? The behaviors that you have had in the past and the present have now start affecting your children in the same cycle, but with more extreme forms of violence based off the same violence that you went through in the late 90s, the early 2000s. You had your part in implementing what's happening now too. Now, whether you want to admit it or not as a parent, and you want to toke yourself on the back like I see so, I raised little so-and-so, I'm my baby, da-da-da-da, but you left out the part that you used to go in the front of the building or walk around the house drinking, smoking. My mama used to smoke cigarettes. My sister used to smoke cigarettes. Now, you know what? I smoke cigarettes. It's a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior. And it happens with neural links in your mind that have decision points. You understand what I'm saying? And the decisive decision points from those neural links in your mind that lead up to eventually dopamines are not the targeted choice. See, they're just meant for momentary gratification. Once that hit is achieved, now these kids got to go and do something else. So to you parents that are out here, they're encouraging Lil Ray Ray or Lil Shaniqua. I'm just making up those names and I don't mean no intent by that. But you two, as parents or a parent, because there's a lot of single father parents out here that don't get the notoriety that they should deserve, and they do a good job with their boys, and they keep their boys out of that. The problem I see is a lot of times these single women and these boys. See, a lot of times these single women and these boys, and I'm not attacking single mothers. Salute to y'all. Y'all do a heck of a job. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not here to disrespect you, but I'm trying to tell you from a man's point of view so you'll understand. At the time that child turns about, I'm going to say nowadays, about 8 or 9 years old, he has now made a cohesive decision upon himself that he's going to be who he's going to be. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're not there to navigate who that child is going to be in a positive, perspective, then what happens is that kid starts latching onto everything that's negative around him because his decision-making tactics have not evolved or reached the extreme points on which they should be as an adult male. And sometimes adult males or adult females never reach that point either. That's why I'm having this conversation, because a lot of these parents are the reason why these kids, our parent, are the reason why these kids are out here doing what they're doing. Grandma Tamika is 34, 35 years old, but she's smoking weed in the car with her grandkids, listening to 50 Cent, listening to whoever, and doesn't realize for one moment that her decisions are actually influencing the behavior of these children. Now, I see a lot of y'all logging off. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I thought he was just going to talk about the streets. I thought he was just going to talk about Boosie getting killed. No, I'm trying to tell you the nucleus and the genesis of your problem and how you can fix it. If you're not about that, then you contribute to the hostility. You contribute to the murders. Because, see, if you're not about the solution, then you're part of the problem. I've been trying to be part of the solution for a long time, way before y'all even ran into me, and I was made fun of, I was mocked. I just had somebody last week try to disclaim me and tell me, ain't been no 38, ain't been no 38 rappers killed this year. You don't know what you talking about. Went on with me for about half an hour. So finally, I had to pull up the statistics in which I got them from and what I was talking about for them to actually shut up. They never made a reply after that. Let me read some of these comments, and I'm going to get back to what I'm talking about. And I want to tell everybody good morning and everything like that. Celeb Jackson, yeah, you're right. A lot of rappers are getting, I'm not reading that. Dorita's daughter, definitely something's going on. Yeah, there's something going on. It's a monotone in the music. I'm trying to tell y'all what's going on. It's like, yo, the water's hot. Turn the water down, and you still keep turning the water up on hot. You don't get it? Like, I'm trying to tell you. I want a few people who's going to tell y'all this. And, like, y'all halt up on giving me donations because you're like, yo, we get anything for him for free. He posts every day. I don't tell y'all the good stuff because I do, based on the donations that I receive, which are in the description box, PayPal, GoFundMe, and Cash App. That's what I divulge to y'all. Right now, today, I feel kind of special. So I say, you know what? I'm going to sit out here and I'm going to tell a couple things. But my Cash App is Cash App, STRINGERBELL80. Y'all donate to people like Lord Jamal and people like that are the multimillionaires, but don't like, y'all don't make no sense clout chasing. I get it. Back to these parents. These parents have literally been the architecture, and they don't realize it, and it's time we talk about them. That's why I said about Jprince. Jprince, you a granddaddy now. You need to walk through the streets. Puff Daddy, Diddy. When the last time you been to New York? When the last time you walked through Harlem? When the last time you walked through the Bronx? When the last time you walked through Brooklyn? When? Oh, I get it. You're comfortable in Calabasas. You're comfortable in California. The serene. I get it. And that's what we're hoping most of your kids. But how come you ain't came back to New York? And you hire any security you want to. You ain't walked through New York or nothing. See, the same people that are singing you songs about the streets don't be in the streets. Don't move around in the streets. Don't talk to street characters. They think they above street characters. You understand what I'm saying? I don't. I never have. Even when I was working full time over there with them, I still hung in the projects. Ask around, they'll tell you. I still came through at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning in the hood. You know what I'm saying? It was welcome. You know why? Because I never was funny. I was always wondering about what was going on. There was always a kid over there that ran back and told their parent, yo, this dude told me this, that, and that, and the third. And I've had parents come to tell me, yo, thank you for telling him that. Single moms. And I'm not a father. They would say, thank you for telling him. You know why? Because I'm a guy. And this is another problem. I'm talking more to the men right now than I'm talking to the women. See, the women, a lot of women are not going to know how to raise a boy because you're not a boy. I mean, that's just anatomic. You know, it has nothing to do with anything else. You know what I'm saying? Just the same way I couldn't raise a girl properly. I don't know about periods. I don't know about, girls being jealous of other girls and stuff like that. That's feminist stuff. That's something a mother could tell you. But the dynamic with parenthood in the Black and Latino community, because it exists in the Latino community too. Let's stop playing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of B-Bos and Pablos that sit on the couch all day, get drunk on Maria, and don't pay no bills. You can peep them most of the time when they're in the grocery store and they're standing 2-3 feet behind their girl, using up their girl's wick, eating up the baby cereal, all that. You know what I'm saying? I know it. I've seen it. You know what I mean? Let's see who else is in here. Slab Jackson, I'm not reading that. LaDon Malone, hey Cat Day, what's going on? A system of money and more dead than alive. You keep thinking it's some type of system, but what you have to realize is it takes participators to play in the system. Meaning that if ain't nobody there to participate, this is why I keep telling y'all could end this. But y'all more rather see it going on. It's like y'all like it because it reacts y'all dopamines. OG, I'm listening. I'm not going to be confrontational. I got you. I don't want you to be confrontational. Just listen to what I'm saying. 10 p.m. curfew on Monday for, yeah, I know, 10 p.m. curfew on Monday for New York, NYC. These people, they don't know what's going on in the city. See, a lot of people that be coming into my lives and other people's lives or whatever, let's put something in perspective here. I want to go off that. A lot of people that come on my lives, you live in an area in the United States where it's not been as affected by what's the name as it has been here in the Northeast. You understand what I'm saying? This is New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. This is the tri-state. I put it on my back, all three of them. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love New England. I love Dutch Colony, New York, and I love Jersey too. I got friends in all three of them that I care deeply about. And I see the same problems in the same communities, all three. Now, to get back to what she was saying, actually in New Jersey, they've actually started the process of locking down New Jersey for a second quarantine batch. And now we got Milwaukee and everywhere else. I'm hoping that this curbs a little bit of the violence or whatever, because if people are not out, people are not getting shot. I got a video, I'm going to find it when I was doing my other lives, and I'm going to show y'all, because there's a lot of them y'all haven't seen. I think I'm going to start uploading them. And you'll actually hear me say in there, I said, the people that you're going to see turn up the most are going to be the most unlikely. And that's going to be rappers that can't get booked, rappers that ain't doing shows, rappers that owe a lease on this, that, and the other, and the third, when things were good. You know, the average rapper thinks like this. I'm going to tell you how. And this is why they go broke. You better listen. And if you will be so nicely, hit my links down below, because I'm trying to survive. That's all I'm trying to do, and trying to get my goal up. So the links are in the description box, and it's it's $STRINGERBELL80. Let me tell you how this works. Most of the time, when you hear the music that's coming out and you're listening to it and you're consuming it or whatever, a lot of times your neurons will tell you from overhearing the music that your children are listening to that, yo, this ain't a good setup for my son. You know, my son just learned his ABCs. Why you sitting on here talking about toking the 40 and, you know, or carrying the blade or doing this in the street? It's because you allow it. You allow it. And you enjoy it to a certain degree yourself. See, what you allow in your house becomes the outcome of what that child does when he leaves the house. Somebody needs to tell y'all. Because you want to blame the Baphomet, y'all want to blame the Illuminati, but really, the most person that's biggest in the participation of all this is you. You control what your kid listens to. You control where your kid hangs out at. You should control what time, how late your kid stays out. I've seen 13, 14-year-old kids in New York City come in at 12, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning like it's nothing. And the mom be like, where you been at, boy? You out here smoking again? Girl, then they hop on the phone. Girl, he out here smoking again. You know how he is. They want him to be reminiscent. Their son, a lot of times reminiscent of that daddy that they were with at that time, in that point, in that period of conception. You understand what I'm saying? Put it to you bluntly like this. The same man in many situations that the woman hates for being the father, at the same time, when she starts seeing those in characters in her son, or sometimes the daughter, she will encourage it. Oh, he just like his daddy running around with the pistol. Oh, he just like his daddy smoking weed all the time. The most negative attributes they will encourage, and you gotta stop it. I know it's hard for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all ain't lived in certain communities or whatever that's, you know, clandestine, and I get it. But this is your key. And this is why a lot of rappers are running around broke right now, because people got their consensus and their focus on other things like life. Like where my next dollar gonna come from. And I said this, I said the rapper's gonna be tripping more than anybody, because the pure simple fact, the millions that they used to getting that makes them feel clandestine above everybody, they ain't gonna be getting them like that no more. and try to talk to these young men all about them killing each other. They're not going to stop killing each other. You have to change the music. The reason I want Jprince to come out to show that he ain't scared and that he is taking a stand. Now, believe it or not, a lot of people don't respect Jprince in Texas. Don't much I know. And I've heard that from several people, including my man Ant. Shout out to him for sending me that video. You know what I mean? Because he went right to the chicken spot that Boosie got shot at. And I did one video, but did a second video because in the first video he said, well, you know, let me give y'all an update. Let me read what else is in here. Again, links are in the description. If y'all mess with me, then, you know what I'm saying? Do something for your boy, man. Links are in the description. It's Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Even if you don't donate, just type that in the description, in the comments for me. I'm going to keep going with y'all. It's a new breed of LaDon Malone says, it's a new breed of knuckleheads out here. If civil war just hasn't been complained. Scripture only says a remnant will be saved. It's not a civil war. It's people going after each other. See, this is what you got to pay consistency with. Everybody, sometime when this stuff happens, even myself, we turn around and we go live. See, we go live for many different reasons. My reason is different for other people. I actually was in the industry. I was around the industry. I was around artists. And for all mistakes and measures, regardless of how I feel about Puff and Bad Boy Entertainment, no one will argue the fact that I was there at the hype, the downfall, the resurrection, all that. You understand what I'm saying? And I've been around multiple different record companies, Def Jam, and everybody else you could think of. And these people know me. You understand what I'm saying? So I know exactly what's going on. And I'm trying to tell y'all, once again, it is the tone of the music, the chords of the music, the vocal octaves of the music that resonate with your children sonically, just like they did back in the day when you was coming up. But the difference is, yeah, the violence was in the music then, but it's even more inclusive now. Because they saw that previous formula worked as far as violence more than it did with the party notion. Even when you did the party get jiggy period in the early 2000s or whatever, it didn't work unless it was mixed in with violence. You've been spoon-fed this violence for the past 25 years and don't even know it. And yes, I'm even go back as far as to say big. I don't even think we knew what we were doing at that time. That's the problem. Because why? We had undeveloped minds, just like these children. And they may be coming back here just like I am right now, telling y'all the same thing. But the problem is, right now at this time period, all you motherfuckers is 40 years old, 41 years old, 42 years old on up. Need to get off your butt. Especially y'all ones that been in prison and y'all know what it's like. The ones that's like me, that know what it's like to pull that thing out and all that or whatever. And y'all, a lot of y'all, I'm gonna keep it a buck, a lot of y'all scared of these young boys. You was terror and murder 10 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? Now your name's Cecil. Or now your name Brian. You know what I mean? At the job you at. Michelle LaFleur, I respect you, but we heard that. That's the problem. We've been hearing that same quote for the past 40 years. We need to stop killing each other. No, they're not going to stop killing each other. You should look up King Von Dad. All right, I'll check it out. I heard another bystander witnessed the shooting and started shooting at the killer of Mo 3. Later died at the hospital because the killer shot him too. Yeah, I heard something about that, Patrice, that there was somebody else that was shot there and this wasn't reported like that. Yes, above. Facts. Thank you, Jack Bass. True, I know I don't. I don't know what that was referring to, but thank you, brother. Telly Muse, right? You understand. Good morning. Good morning, Tina Marie. My mom used to smoke cigarettes, too. She quit cold turkey after smoking for 30 years. Wish she was still here. Wow. Mental slavery are people who left, don't worry about them. No, you need to worry about them because, see, there's new ones. I'm going to go on with Michelle before said. You're saying mental slavery, but at the same time, even myself have indulged in this. I'm going to explain to you. See, the whole time I was promoting them albums, and like I said, I always keep my foot in this. I had participation in this. So that's how I know. I promoted albums prerequisite to these kids precursor to these kids putting out what they're putting out now. You understand what I'm saying? All those albums that we put out, I'm going to go a little bit more definitive with you, were full of violence. They were full of don't give a about anybody. They were full of, bravado. It's all about the money. That's where you get this term now. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the bag. See, what you don't understand when you say that phrase is when it's all about the bag, you remove everything. You remove empathy. You remove consolidation. Everything that at one time, 20, 30 years ago, made the black population so sought after. What made it so loved? See, there was a time in black culture, and I remember because I grew up in it. See, my mother was into that pro era thing. She was wearing the afro and all that stuff, or whatever, whatever. So I know what it's about. We had an African flag in the house, we had a Cuban flag in the house. Like, I grew up around that. You know what I'm saying? The problem was, when they made this transition into the 90s, they started introducing more violent music. Now, I'm going to say Wu-Tang was part of that. I'm going to say Mobb Deep was part of that. I'm going to say a numerous amount of artists were part of that. But at the time, these were formulas that they wanted to see at the extreme from the record companies. You understand what I'm saying? So that part of your conspiracy theory stuff, that can be proven. The record companies, white CEOs at first, were saying, hey, we need more of this, we need more of that. They didn't know what this more of this was because they wasn't definitive in that. Many times you're talking to men that grew up going to bar mitzvahs, or men that they spent their whole life in the Hamptons, or men that grew up their whole time, they spent it in Midtown Manhattan. They have nothing but stories to go along with this. So as that CEO, I'm saying to whoever artist or whoever management, y'all just keep doing what y'all doing and do more of it. All right, boy? And that's where it sits. Now, the opposite is happening. Now you have black CEOs saying the same thing that the white CEO said. Why? Because they are not even aware of what's going on in the hood. Ask your average rapper outside Slim Thug and a couple other people, when's the last time they walked through the hood? And Slim Thug, I need you out there too, because you a Texan, and I know they respect you down there. You still making music, so Slim Thug, I have met you. Get in the streets and go talk to these young boys. Find out what's going on. Try to stop smoking on your own. Try to stop smoking on your own. Real rap, bro. All right. Real rap, bro. Thank you. Just me. I'm reading some comments, y'all. I like to read people's comments. Some parents are too interested in being their kid's friend instead of nurturing and advice. Exactly. Just me said something very perfect. That is the main problem. And that goes into in contention of what I was saying. A lot of these kids is learning these behaviors from their parents. Their parents listen to the same music. Their parents listen to 50 Cent. Their parents listen to, whatever. And they play it in the car for hours. They go drop the kids off at school, they playing it. They go drop the kids off at the park, they playing it. They go to the mall, they playing it. They go to the library, they playing it. This child is always, or children is always saturated in the worst of the part of the culture, in my opinion, because when you do rap, or when you talk about the things you talk in rap, those are actually decisions. So you could be quick, easy, and just be just like J. Cole or Kendrick and jump on and be like, yo, you know what? I'm going to talk about the moon, the stars, and the quasars and all that. You could do that. Is it lucrative measures in doing that? Yes. I think Kendrick, K-Dot has proved that. I think J. Cole has proved that. I think numerous artists have proved that there is a lane within that. Chance to rap a lot of other people. But since you have a high majority of people that were born into poverty in this country, which is the United States' fault, a lot of times what you have is children being born decade after decade, embracing poverty, embracing destruction, embracing all the things that are wrong for them. And then they take that attitude that they have in the neighborhoods or whatever, and they take it to a public school with them. And now the same teachers, the same administration, the same everything else is confused by their behavior, whether they're black, white, or Latino, because they don't live in those areas because that's their profession. That's why they have their profession, so they wouldn't have to live in those neighborhoods. Even if they're from those neighborhoods, they don't want to understand that, which is also a problem too, because the teachers are a conduit for a lot of this that's going on. A lot of teachers are 22, 23, 24, 25 years old. When I was in school, my teachers were like 40, 45, 50 years old. And that's why you see a lot of these kids, especially the boys, being molested, getting these teachers pregnant or whatever, because a lot of these teachers are only a couple years out of high school themselves. So of course they're attracted to young flesh. To them, I ain't that much older than them. I'm only 26, 27. This happens with a lot of female teachers. These kids are the key to your legacy, to your future, to everything else. And the majority of a lot of mothers and fathers or parents treat these children no more than what they are, a ticket out of poverty. Through their music, through whatever. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Let me see what else is here. Bro, why all these rappers like 50 Cent, Cardi B, Lil Wayne, all seen shaking hands with these presidents and politicians? What they got in common? I don't do conspiracy theories. Well, you want to hear what they got in common? I'll tell you what they got in common. AJ, son aside. Um, the first thing they got in common is, and I'm gonna tell you real clearly, is they don't pay attention to conspiracy theorists. I get tired of him talking to people that are conspiracy theorists that have never been in the business. So that's like you being a mechanic, or you not being a mechanic, but you trying to tell me a diagnosis on my car. Does that make sense? Or you not being a baker, or known to be a baker, never baked before, but you telling me y'all want to make you something for dinner. I'm suspect of you. And shaking hands. Presidents have always shook hands with musicians, all the way back to Sammy Davis Jr. And you're still trying to blame the white man, but it's really y'all. Puppy back in the day shook hands with Trump, Jay-Z. I already put up those pictures. You're not teaching anybody nothing. What's going on, Egolarian? Ladies, you're a female by your anatomy, but become a woman not by the choices you make. Just me said that. This is a fact. Translucency. Now, I want to go back to what I was saying, because I just wanted to read a couple comments or whatever to see if anybody was asking any question. On our land, we're disgracing our ancestors. People need to change their negative mindset. You manifest what you think. The universe hears your thoughts. That's what Tia Averill said. Manifest positive thoughts and da. See, what you guys are talking about as esotericism. And see, that's what I put that into tribalism, and I also put that into worship of deities. See, let me tell you a little problem that goes on in the black community. I concur with you, Cat Daddy, in regards to music. This is how it affects the psyche. I spoke to artist Hugo Biggs. I don't know who he is. He says he loves old school, but doesn't sell. He doesn't sell with these young cats. I guess, I don't know. It depends on the music that you're putting out, you know. Sometimes some people want to say, yo, I've seen a lot of artists do that. I'll give you an example. Nas had the Lost Tape 2 out, right? I saw young kids reviewing that album because Nas is a lyricist and he's dope. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people nod their heads and knock their heads still to Jay-Z, and they be 17, 18 years old. I've seen people knock their heads. You can't give a general consensus of that other than the demographic is not saturating the said product. Is that better? You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense. I can get that. But what you guys need to do is stop doing these conspiracy theories, because these conspiracy theories are not helping you. Oh, it's the white man. Why are they shaking hands with the presidents? Like this kid up here said. They're shaking hands with the presidents because they superstars and you not. They shaking hands with the presidents because they multimillionaires and you not. What part of the delusion do you not see? In yourself. This is what this live is about. It's about the delusion and your participation in your own demise. And you're not listening. You are participating in your own demise, and they're using your children as a conduit to do so, because it's your children, not you. It's your nieces and nephew, not you. It's other people in your family, not you, that are actually consuming, buying, saturating. Have this on your phones, have this on your tablets, the music in the videos, everything else on your devices, and it is daily with you. So yes, you are to blame. When you go pick up your kids at school, how about turning off the radio and playing 50 Cent or whoever you playing, and instead turn on Ella Fitzgerald, turn on Stevie Wonder, turn on someone that you know is not going to look like your children are sitting there getting ready to be cesspooled into the same system that you're speaking against, the same system that you say these rappers are going to see. Why are you letting your children be involved in it? They the next batch. They're the next batch of them. The Lil Waynes that you speak of, the whoever else that you speak of as a rapper, those children are the next batch, if you're worried about it. So focus on the kids. Focus on the kids. And some of you are so lackadaisical as parents that you actually sound like children yourself when you give the childish answers that you give. Oh, it's the Illuminati's part. Look, everybody in the fucking America know we went through slavery. Everybody. Who don't know? So if you keep reiterating the same thing, it's the white man fault, it's that. You got people that'll sit up here on my live and tell me it's a white man's fault, but at the same time, there's 3 links down at the bottom that you can donate to and ain't 1 penny going there. I go to a white man's channel and I say, yo, listen, I'm having this situation, and they will, boom, boom. The women, black women, got more gumption and balls than most of these 40, 45, 35-year-old men nowadays. Why? Because these 35, 40, 45-year-old men, it goes in all races, but these 35, 45-year-old men in our culture are sitting around wearing, well, I'm going to get a new Louis belt. You ever seen these grown teenagers who walk around? Hey, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying, player? Yeah, man, I was out there last night. Mind you, of a 70s movie or something? Now we got our batch of them now. 50, 60, 70-year-old men that's out here walking around, pants hanging off their butt. You know what I'm saying? Not age appropriate. And it's black men, white men, Spanish men, all of them. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it in all 3 of them. But I'm putting my emphasis right now on African Americans and Latinos because of pure simple fact, y'all are the majority that create the music. Y'all are the majority that captivate the music. Y'all are the caveat that actually makes sure that the music is purchased and everything else. Whether it be your vehicles on YouTube, whether it be your vehicles on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use as a vehicle, you all are just as guilty as the people that you're pointing your hands at because of your participation. And I don't know how slow you are that you can't get that, but you're going to get it soon enough. When it's your baby, when it's your niece, when it's your aunt, when it's whoever meets the same demise. Now, y'all sit back and y'all talk about, oh, it's a white man, this is a white man, that. No, it's your participation. What part don't you get? You're a drug addict. And your drug is these 3. Influence, the consistency to want to see an outcome, a curiosity based on whatever vehicle is derived on, whether it be violence, whether it be a drug overdose, whether it be whatever that's plaguing. And that's another thing that people don't pay attention to either with the youth right now. There's more of these kids dying over drug overdose. More of them have died out of those 38 rappers that have died this year, 28 rappers that have died this year. More of them, well now 29. Those 29 rappers that have died this year inching to 30 because it's going to be 1 or 2 more. This is a pattern. That's what y'all understand. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving y'all shit that nobody else would give y'all. And I feel unappreciated. But I'm going to keep giving it to you because I'm worried about the babies. I ain't worried about y'all. Y'all actually, not y'all here, but many of the older adults that are 35 and over are actually more prone and more attributed to the violence that's going on more than anybody. So I'm talking to y'all, you old, dilly, silly, forever 21 goofies. No, we're not old in our late 30s, early 40s. No, we're not old. But a lot of y'all late 30s, early 40s are not dressing age appropriate. You're not speaking in an octave that's age appropriate. You want to keep on embracing the hood, but the hood ain't giving you nothing back but sorrow. How many of y'all had a family member die in the hood? How many of y'all had a friend die in the hood? How many of y'all have seen your friends arrested in the hood? How many of y'all seen it? And you induct your children into the same environment. You'd rather go buy a $40,000, $50,000 car on a lease than take that same 10 grand and go put it in a fucking house and get you and them kids and that girl out of that neighborhood. All why? So you can shine around a whole bunch of poor people. Why? Because you're scared to stun on anybody else. You're scared to stun on white men. When I was in Manhattan, anybody will tell you, I stun on white dudes. I don't ever stunt on my people. And I only stun on white dudes when it's applicable. Meaning you try to stun on me first and I'm going to embarrass you. I would say things, so what's your work history? Who have you worked for? What's your resume look like? Because I know what mine looks like. And mine says not 1, not 2, but 3 different record companies, and 4th if you include the distributors and the parent company. So we've been through 3 distributors and then from 1 parent company, which is Bad Boy Entertainment. What you talking about? And I'll have them same people jump online and think because they heard some blogger who, yet again, ain't in the music industry, never been in the music industry, may have 1 or 2 people that they know in the music industry, but they have not had the same experience. I've never been a cop, So I don't know what it's like to be a cop in the street or on the beat. I have never been a detective. So I don't know what it's like to be a detective or whatever. Now I can go and learn vicariously what it's like to be a cop and the emotions that a cop might have or the emotions a judge might have or whatever. But I have not lived that experience. I have not been around that pedigree. I have not been around his constituents. I have not been around his business partners or people that he works with. So therefore I cannot get a general vibe of this. And that's where 2021 has to start. You people are bringing over old ideas from 10 years ago and you want to continue them another 10 years. But the change starts with you. And how today, right now today, you can go in the room when your kid is listening to whatever trap star artist teaching them how to bag up dope, how to load a pistol or whatever. Right now, you can go in your kid's room and I know they're playing it. Or they listening to it on their headphones or whatever, they listening to it while they're playing PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. You can go right in the room right now and tell your kids, cut that off. And don't listen to it in this house no more. Because that's what my mom, my dad did. I wasn't even able to listen to rap. I wasn't able to listen. And I know a whole bunch of my friends that was the same way. Their parents wouldn't even let them listen to rap. Because just like me, their parents, not parents, but their family was in the church and everything else. My mama didn't go to church like that. My mother never went to church like that. But when she did, she always emphasized God. And she always emphasized and had her relationship with God. She always emphasized positive things. A lot of these parents are not emphasizing positive things. Let me tell you what they emphasizing. Oh, you see my baby? He 3 years old. Look at him, dressing him like an adult. Look at my baby. My baby don't never look messed up. He's got the new Jordans on. Walking into a urinated elevator in the projects somewhere in Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens. And your kid grows up year after year thinking materialistic things are actually a resolve for their life. And what happens to them? They end up dead in the street. I'm going to read some comments. Links are in the description box. Click the description box. If you don't click the description box, it's $STRINGERBELL80. Give me what I'm worth and I'll give y'all what y'all worth. Better tell them you ain't telling no. I know I'm not telling no lies because I seen even with people in the office, they had their kids listening to the music. You wasn't, Heather Marie said, I wasn't allowed to listen to rap either. What the fuck? Boosie got shot when and where? Boosie got shot down in Texas yesterday. They shot up his Sprinter band. The word is he was down there for Mo 3's funeral or wake or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? But being the fact that Mo 3 got shot in the head 3 times, I'm pretty sure they want to hurry up the funeral. So it makes sense to me. He was at a chicken spot and he got hit in the leg. Initially, they said he didn't get shot at all. He was just shot at, but he was hit in the leg. My question that I kept raising was, why did they shoot Boosie? And then when I come to find out, Mo 3 and Boosie had a tight connection. A lot of people are speculating that Mo 3 and Lil Boosie were involved in some other things, which I'm not going to mention. That's none of my business, but that's what it is. No mistake Davin for anger. That's Pat. I'm not mad at all. I'm trying to tell you, Pat. That's what I'm saying. It's too many people that's into this whole esoteric thing. And it once again, it equates to spirituality. Now, y'all gonna get mad at me for saying this, but ever since we made our inception in this country, since the plantation, you people been sitting around, Lord gonna make it all right. Lordy, 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 let me get over here and shut this cold. Lordy, 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 let me go. You sung hymns in the fields when you were picking cotton in 110, 120 degree weather. And you died doing it most of the time. If you didn't die that year, you died the year after. And if you didn't die within 10 or 15 years of your work, they would come knock you in the head with a hammer and throw you right in the ditch and be like, he's too old now. We loved you though, Jasper, but we can't put you in the house because you can't walk no more from all them beatings. You got diseases that at one time we didn't even have no. At one time now we have cures for, but back then we didn't have cures. Diseases like scurvy that the Europeans brought here to right up the street here in Massachusetts and killed the Indians with. That's a blood clot disease if you don't know. It doesn't allow your blood to clot if you don't know what scurvy is. And many other things, smallpox and everything else. But you've been spoon-fed a brand of Christianity that has been brought to you by, and I know it best here in New England, because this state is made of Gnostic Christians, Coptic Christians, and a lot of other Christian sets that they didn't want in England. Right here in these states, the New England states, that's Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts, Maine, all that. These are the New England states. And these 13 colonies, that's an extension of the original 13 colonies from all the way up to Pennsylvania, down to Florida. These colonies have majority of 5 sets that came from Massachusetts and worked their way down and colonized these places in so many words that you have. Yes, there were slaves here in the Northeast too. Don't get it mistaken. Not too far from here, the Amistad ship. Y'all remember the movie The Amistad? Well, not too far from here, the Amistad landed right here. It was a Spanish conquistador slave ship. Amistad. If you haven't seen the movie, go look at it. Now, I'm tired of talking. I get people come on here, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I was talking about this last week. I said, why are so many, anybody was on my live, if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all can quote me as what I said. I said, this is something that y'all don't know. 28 rappers have been killed as of today here in November. And then all of a sudden, depending on who saw me or, you know, whatever the case may be, that's conspiracy theory. All of a sudden, 4 people get shot this week. I thought I just said that last week. And y'all looking at me like, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, that's the slave mentality. Why are we going to run for? What's better than here? When they talking about the plantation. What's better than here? Master feed us. Master give us a bed. Master give us money sometime. Look at the big house up there. We get to look at it every day right here from the field. Why you want to run? See, that's what we're really dealing with. The same people that will say you got a slave mentality, they don't even realize to check themselves and be like, nah, really, I got a slave mentality. Because what I'm doing is, instead of doing what needs to be done, which most of the time either means a revolt, violence against the opposition, meeting violence with violence, or 2, supporting your own people monetarily when you have it in your pocket, but instead going to the Arab man's store to buy a pack of cigarettes. When there's a black store or a white store right around you that you can purchase from too. I'll give you a perfect example. Out here where I'm at, there's a Cumberland Farms, right? Y'all not familiar with Cumberland Farms? It's basically like a gas station / convenience store, all right? They're national really here in the Northeast and I think a few places in California. So that is the only American ran corner store literally in the area I'm at right now. Out of 7 to 8 corner stores that's in this area, every last one of them is ran except for Cumberland Farms by foreign entities. Meaning they're from this country, that country, this country, that country. I have been in stores when these people, and they know they don't like, a lot of them, let me just keep it a buck with you. A lot of these people that come from Arab countries and come from Asian countries, they do not like even themselves. Like even in their own communities, they will not even speak to each other. If you don't believe me, look how many Asian women and Indian women actually marry white men instead of their own men. If you just look at the data from the CDC, you will understand I'm correctly right. The 2 most unmarried people in the United States right now, according to the CDC, is Asian men, Indian men, and black women. North south to y'all black women. You know what I'm saying? This is CDC, not me. Now you can look that up right now for yourself, and you will see that. But Asian men are at the bottom of that area. Why is that? When they only make up 3 to 4% of the U.S. population. It's because of the bag. Or the potential or the potentiality of what they see in the bag. And which goes back to these corner stores. These same corner stores, they won't respect people of color when they come in the store. Or they'll take a different octave with you when you come in their store. Hey, yo, what's up? But you supposed to be cool or something? You really make me want to choke the life out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I flipped out on stores. One particular time I flipped out is when this dude, I asked him for a pack of cigarettes. He gonna throw the cigarettes on the counter. So my man come up behind me, he just talking to me, and he just like, hey man, I ain't seen you, you know, the whole thing we do. So it took me maybe like 3-4 seconds to get that conversation over, whatever. He gonna go like this on the thing. You need to heavy up. I have other customers. I looked at this motherfucker. I said, yo, who you talking to? Huh? I said, let me tell you something, homeboy. I don't know if you think it's some invisible moat right here between this counter and you and I, but trust me, I'm going to jump across this counter, I'm going to beat the brakes out of you, I'm going to hit you with a couple of things, and you can go ahead and call the police because I'm going to make sure it's worth going to jail for. See, y'all scared to go to jail. I ain't scared to go to jail. Half them niggas was up at Bad Boys scared to go to jail. Why? Because they ain't never been to jail before. That's why Pup was scared to go to jail when they had the whole Shine trial. See what I'm saying? So y'all need to fill out the realness of people versus what you want it to be. These Arab men and these Asian people, they don't respect, most of the time, they don't respect you when you come into their businesses. But these same black people will have allegiance to them. What's going on, boss? Hey, man, what's going on? Thinking y'all friends with them. You ain't your friends. They sending money back to Qatar. They sending money back to Dubai. They sending money back to Iran. They sending money back to wherever they from. And none of that money is going in your community. None of that money is going towards helping your kids. In fact, many of these stores disrespect your kids and disrespect your women. How many of y'all heard these stories about these women going to these Asian nail salons, getting beat up, getting disrespected? After it happens, you will have a whole nother batch of black women just because they ain't never been there before, whatever, or they don't believe the story, right back in there. And this is what they'll say. Well, it ain't me. It must have been something she did. So you different. This is the mentality of this silly bag chase, which really, in all reality, is a mechanism, since y'all so into conspiracy theories, is a mechanism to get you to do exactly what they want you to do. And that is kill yourselves. But it's not enough for me to kill yourself. We got to think of a different plan. See, most of these parents are now grandparents, and they 35, 40. We've left a generation of women that just, hey, I done had my babies now. I ain't having no more. Even though you're not married, you ain't ever had another man good in your life, and everybody that you had in your life, then they just sold drugs, dealt drugs, or whatever the case may be. So you knock off the good men, and you say, you know what? I don't care if I do get another man. If he get with me, he gonna have to deal with me and my kids. Well, that's not really a good gamble. And you can't have no more kids. So say if I get in love with you and want to have a baby with you, you can't have. I've had this situation happen. And I had to leave those women alone because of said situation, because it wouldn't have worked out for us in the long run. You know what I'm saying? This is preferably why a lot of times I date women that are younger than me, because I don't have no kids. And if I want to have a kid, you understand what I'm saying? Then I know I can do it with her. It's not no attack on women. It's just reality and basically just anatomy. You know what I mean? Men can have children to the day they die. You hear this in the stories of Shem. You hear this in the stories of Noah. You hear this in the stories of Lot and many others. They had children way into their 700 year on earth, you know, depending on how you measure that. As your birth numbers start going down, as your children start dying earlier and earlier and earlier, there is no resuscitation, there's no regurgitation of the society and the culture. This is why you are starting to see your numbers dwindle. There's 3 different reasons, and I'm going to tell you why. 1, the women are out here at a high rate having abortions. And this goes through all of them. I'm not judging any of y'all that have been sexually assaulted. I'm not judging any of y'all that your daddy played with you, your uncle played with you. Any woman under sexual assault, salute to y'all. Y'all survived that. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the frivolous thought. See, the frivolous thought to go to the club, she ain't got no drawers on, whatever. I've seen it. I've seen it in Miami. I've seen anybody live in Miami know the girls in Miami most of the time will go to the club, and whatever they got on, they will not have no drawers on because it's so hot in Miami. It's a fact. Same thing in Cali. You know what I'm saying? It happens. Anybody in Cali or Miami can contest to that? They flooding our cities. People have a property mentality. You will never have nothing with that mindset. No, people have a chief Indian prospect, meaning that I'm the chief, and if anybody raised above the chief, then I want to take the throne. That's what's happening right now. Everybody want to come in and got uneducated, unexperienced accounts of things they've never been through, never realized, never seen, or whatever. That's like, yo, I heard this dope as hell flying on an airplane, but you ain't never been on an airplane, so how you know? You're talking life vicariously to people that you listen to instead of having the experience. That is called delusion. And I'm here to wake you up out of your delusional state. You are delusional. You are thinking that it is white people that are sitting out here promoting this music to your kids, when in actuality it's black people and Latin people promoting that this artist gets signed so they can put out the message of violence that they putting out. And what point don't you get? I told you Bobby Sparta was an epic breakfast dancing on the table. to get a deal. Where you see that at? The same record company that L.A. Reid from L.A. Reid and Babyface fame is now president of. The same Epic Records that Puff, with only 2 artists, has a distribution deal in the digital era. I love that game, my nigga. I love it. I love it. I love it, Puff. I love how you did that. You got a distribution deal in 2020 for digital properties mostly. Who got a CD player in 2021? Anybody in here? Anybody got it? The game being ran on y'all behind the scenes. And all the shit that y'all think y'all on, all the stuff that these bloggers telling y'all, they got unexperienced ears, eyes. The shit they telling y'all is guesstimates because they know it keeps y'all going. You see what I'm saying? This is why y'all donate thousands of dollars to Umar Johnson. This is why y'all donate thousands of dollars to whoever's popular at the moment. This is why y'all do that. I've seen people that are multi-millionaires, people like Lord Jamal and numerous other ones, get $100, $200, $500 cash apps, and I'm like, wow, what y'all trying to do? Make sure they stay here? So it's contractually obligated. You don't know what I mean by that? Meaning, even though a lot of these artists are not working right now, a lot of these artists are not touring right now because of the pandemic, make no mistake about it, contractually, they are still obligated to monies that they receive that they will get contractually because of pure simple fact, it's written in their contract. So these record companies have to pay them. Okay? Other companies have to pay them, who they've gotten into different types of deals with or whatever, but prior to this. See, a lot of deals are signed a year before they happen, 2 years before they happen, 3 years before they happen in many cases, especially in the hip hop industry. So what happens is, say like it's an MTV performance, right? For the MTV Video Music Awards. That contract was signed months ago, if not a year and a half ago. You understand what I'm saying? And it'll be a letter of, what's the word? Anonymity, as far as how it's deciphered. So basically, you have someone that is contractually obligated to whenever the MTV Awards is in September of 2021, right now, to perform at that. Now, whether or not they have it depends on the pandemic and the direction of where it goes, whether it settles or whether it consistently and persistently goes on. But make no mistake about it, that artist, whether that MTV performance happens or not, they still getting paid if they've not already gotten paid already. Make sense? So you will see people, this is why I know a lot of people don't know how the business really works, and you just talk without actually knowing how the business works. So I'm here to teach you. All right, I'm here to teach you. What happens is that contract has to be fulfilled monetarily, as it was saying in language. Monetarily. Okay? Whether that's a record deal, distribution deal, whatever the case may be. Now, if I had to make a guess, Puff made that deal with Epic Records as a distribution deal, and I know it's a distribution deal because I had other people at Bad Boy tell me what it was. It was a distribution deal, like he's always got. I went through 3 record companies with them as far as distribution. Atlantic Records, Arista Records, where I started at BMG, and finally Interscope, where I left at. That was the last one we were at. There's no reason, there wasn't even no reason to have a distributor with Interscope in the latter 2 years, so I don't even understand why you would get another one. Oh, I know why. Because see, if you got a deal, a distribution deal, that means all fault doesn't fall on you, it falls on the parent company. Even though L.A. Reid is the president or whatever, acting president over there at Epic Records, is the Epic Records CEOs, the ones from Europe, the ones from the bigger conglomerates or whatever that actually fulfill those contractual obligations, actually take on the responsibility if money failures or whatever. When you get these distribution deals like that, it's basically a way of scapegoating the parent company and being like, yo, listen, basically, we had a problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need about $500,000 to fix this. Well, the parent company contractually and obligationally come in and they say, well, here's the $500,000. Well, what were we betting this against? Well, I got a project coming out in about 5 years. Give or take. Might shelf a couple cats. Might sign a couple cats. But you won't spend no more on this whole entire thing to $3 million. And that's where you can get a lot of kids. Take a kids from the projects right now and go up and offer them $100,000 in a New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut housing project. They'll take out the whole block for that $100,000. So what you think these same rappers are, a lot of them that are in the field, and a lot of them that aren't, a lot of them that grew up in violence, a lot of them watched their daddy do violence, a lot of them watched their mama do violence. What you think they won't do for half of that? $50,000. Huh? And this is because many of you parents have not instilled any type of value system in your kids other than chase the bag, baby, and make sure you move over there with the white folks in the suburbs. You say white people, I lived around white people in the suburbs all my damn life. You understand what I'm saying? I kept the same personality when I was trapped and when I wasn't. And I'm going to tell you straight up and down, them people don't respect you. You know why they don't respect you? Because they can see right through you. They see where you come from. They say who you are. You better off starting your own communities. But y'all won't do that. Nah, y'all down for the clout chasing. Whoever the clout chaser is this week, that's who y'all gonna follow behind. So this week y'all have 4 clout chasers. You understand what I'm saying? What's it gonna be this week? What's it gonna be, Swag? What's it gonna be? So y'all with me? Y'all want to stop this? Y'all want to support somebody that actually wants to stop this? Who, if I build a larger platform, you understand what I'm saying? Listen, the shit that excuse me, I was trying not to cuss. The stuff that I'm telling y'all, a lot of these people, the only person that'll even come close to saying this stuff is Chuck No Joke, Dame Dash, and Lord Jamal. I say he will. Corey Holcomb, definitely. Zoe, you know what I'm saying? And they all in their own facilities been around the music business in their own way. So let me read a couple comments here. And guys, it's $STRINGERBELL80. Somebody write that in the comment section, or you can go to the description box if y'all want to donate to me. I need that money. I'm in a homeless shelter. I'm trying to get the fuck out of there and kicking people out. And I want to address something. Somebody had typed me this morning and said, yo, somebody took down the video. It was a video with me and my friend. I'm not going to say his name. And we were talking about his situation, him not possibly having to lead tomorrow. He hit me up and he said, yo, I just don't feel comfortable with it or whatever. And it was early in the views. It only got like 200 something views. So I said, yo, no problem, my G. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad a couple people saw that, whatever. So that video's down. You know what I'm saying? On behest of him. And I realize that and respect that. Land grants or buy land. Yeah, land grants. Where you get land grants from? Black people? Answer that question for me. Underworld violator. Who you get land grants from? Black people? You were the last one that wrote a comment. Thank you, Kid Jew. Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. I'm going to show y'all something. Watch this. Land grants or buy land right out. Answer the question. Who you do that through? Black people? Spanish people? Who you do that through? The Spanish government or the black government? Which one in here in the United States? Tell me. Thank you, Dallas. Underworld violator, I'm waiting for you. You got to still be listening. You ain't here no more? So let me tell you what he said. He said, go for land grants and buy land outright. That's a federally program that I right now have contacted HUD about as far as my shipping container houses are concerned. You're going through a white outlet. You're not going through a black outlet. And this is what I'm telling you. You have to peep really cerebrally the mentality of a lot of these black people. They are telling you, he said, land grants or buy the land outright. Okay, I got another one for you. Let's talk about buying the land outright. There was a sister in Atlanta, and this sister in Atlanta, y'all can look this up. She bought a whole lot of property. Okay, her intentions were to start a community down there. Now I'm not talking about no Dr. Malachi York type crap that happened down in Atlanta, and respect to all the victims. Because if y'all don't know about Malachi York, he tended to do the same thing. Got down there molesting kids, getting girls pregnant, their young girls pregnant, all kinds of stuff. And we're not going to go into him. This sister went and got contributors, donators, and everybody else. And she put together that money and she bought that land. She didn't use no federal program. She didn't do none of that. And there's many other black people that have done that. So underworld violator, I see what you're saying. You said they're white. See, I'm not talking about white support. That's your problem. You cats try to act and pretend like you're so independent. You're so come to a raw. But if I go 10, 15, 20 years back into your ascension into this earth, it will show otherwise. It will show despair. It will show anger. It will show drug abuse a lot of times. It will show dirty hallways with urine in them. It will show people you walking past every morning to go to school. They rolling dice. You know what I'm saying? It'll go back to people getting shot in your neighborhood and all kinds of stuff. And now you out here fronting like you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. Stop fronting. I lived in these neighborhoods. No, you didn't. You ain't one of us. And that's what they're going to say to you. You ain't one of us. And I ain't either. But I lived in their neighborhoods. My mama wasn't either, but we lived in their neighborhoods. I grew up in their neighborhoods. I've explained to y'all how I grew up. You understand what I'm saying? I went with one point, we lived with roaches and everything like that and made a transition within 5 years, and now we was in apartments that had pools, weight rooms, and jacuzzis and everything else. That's why I'm able to identify with the streets. As a grown man, I hung in the projects with people, whatever, saw their behaviors and taught the kids, women's children, boy kids. I've been responsible, honestly and truthfully, for about 3 or 4 Thanksgiving dinners because her baby daddy was in jail. I know them kids and them because that's so-and-so's niece and nephew. Yo, we need a couple of dollars, and we pulled those dollars together, and we made sure them kids had Christmas and all that. I've done that. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. Anybody that's in CT that know me know I'm telling the truth. And I've done it not once, twice, 3 times. So why is it when I ask for a cash app or something like that, I'm demoralized, demonized, everything else? When I did my best to help out. But see, that's the problem. The answer for the common black man, even if they try to act like they so in tune, they still got it together. I see y'all motherfuckers pretending. I made $250,000. Man, I know people that take $250,000, spend that in 3 hours at the strip club. What you talking about? When I say I've been around millions, I'm talking about multi-millionaires. I'm not talking about $1 million. $1 million after tax is actually $758,000. How many of y'all know the math on that? What's the math on $2 million tax? Let me see who got the answer. I'm proving points to y'all so y'all can see. There are a lot of these people that are talking and answering these questions absolutely know nothing about what they're talking about, or unless they would have the answer and would have got up here before I did and said, protect your kids from this bull, BS, boo-boo music that's being fueled to them by older black men and women towards white CEOs. We need to get this one right here. If you didn't understand what I'm talking about, it's equivalent to the slave catcher running out looking for the runaway slave, and he got a black slave catcher with him. There they go right there, boss. There they go right there. Your slave behaviors are matriculated themselves and manifested themselves different ways here in 2020, 2021, but they are alert behaviors nevertheless. And y'all don't see it. We all guilty, including me. But the difference is between me and you guys, I can say you guys, but many of you that's listening and ain't listening, is that you can't call yourself. That's called a complex. So you got a complex. I can never do no wrong. I can never do anything. You know where you got that from? White people. You've had it done to you so many times that you started doing it to other people. Stockholm syndrome. You've been so accustomed to making fun of your own when they down and on luck. Because you see white people do it. So you say, well, let me get involved. When in all actuality, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault that you're not monitoring what your kids listen to. It's your fault that you're encouraging your kids to be rappers so you can get out of your current state of deplority as far as poverty is concerned. You understand what I'm saying? And it's going to be more and more young mothers, young grandmothers, young grandfathers in the coming weeks, as long as this pandemic rises, that are going to hear that violence. This ain't the first week you're going to hear it. It ain't the last week. It's going to be more of them killed. Y'all going to be right back here saying the same quotes. Oh, Lord and Lord and Jesus, help us. Help us, Jesus. You know, that old slave quote. Help us, Jesus. Help us. The Lord going to see through it. It's going to be all right. Yo, it's going to be all right, and the Lord's going to see through it. Ain't changing shit. It ain't changing nothing. And it hasn't changed anything. From the time y'all been on the plantation and y'all was listening to slave owners dictate to you the Bible intricately with the verses that they wanted to so they could control you. Here go another one. Why don't you air puff out for real? Why don't you donate, you punk? So anyway, see, that's what I mean. That's a slave right there. You gotta start pointing out the slaves. This ain't about Puff. Puff didn't get shot, and Puff didn't send anybody to get shot. So if that's what you want to go see, go check Gene Deal. Gene Deal ain't even talking about nothing no more. What you are is a faceless coward, L.A. And I don't even believe you from L.A. You understand what I'm saying? And if you keep messing with me, I'll send somebody to check you in L.A. Please believe that. Please believe that. That's why I put up that thing the other day with what's it? Next person say something while I'm talking is getting shot. Please believe that. I don't care what you are. You're over here trying to get information so you can have something to chat about. Huh? You're chatting. You're chatting on your, huh? Won't you chat about these kids getting killed, you punk? You're going to interrupt me talking about black kids and black families to talk about why don't I air out punk? Won't you air out punk yourself, punk? Oop, I forgot. You ain't never been in the music industry, so you ain't got nothing to talk about. So you come and latch off other people like a leech and a crab that you are, go over to your channel, then you're going to get some views, link my channel to your views, and all that shit. I know how you move. You know why I know how you move? Because you're part of the trash that keeps the mechanism moving. You see this one is sitting right here to call himself LA or whatever. He's here, and then he always do that feminine, wow. That's how y'all look when y'all do that. Wow. That's how I envision you. When you say something like that, wow, oh my God, wow. Like a sissy. You a sissy. Anytime you interrupt me talking about black children, y'all all should go to his page. Report that motherfucker. Anything he got on there, flag all of it. Because I guarantee you some BS. This is what I'm talking about. These black bloggers, these black chatty patties, that get online and they actually sit there and don't have no solutions. No. What their encouragement is to keep the violence going by chatting about it and being like, oh, man, I'm blocking you. You're getting on my nerves now. Remove. All right. That punk LA that was sitting right there that did that or whatever, dude's a cornball. He's a cornball. Hide this user on this channel. We getting rid of him. You out of here. Do nobody like that. You gonna interrupt me talking about children and what these people can do for their children to get their children from potentially being the next shooting victim? And you gonna jump on here talking about Puff. Did you see Puff in the description? You ain't never worked for Puff. You ain't never been around Puff. You ain't never been around us. So why are you worried about it? What does it do for you? What does it do for you? You angry. Anger is an emotion. So is being happy. But what gets me the most is you faux happy. A lot of y'all sitting there, oh my God, wow. And like, yeah, da-da-da-da. And right now you're sitting on the 5th floor of the projects with no heat, no hot water, waiting for NYCHA to come through to help you out. Why? Because nobody in your neighborhood can help you out. Nobody else in your neighborhood can bring you a pot of water or anything else to pee out of after you're done. Why? Because they spend their whole entire day living in delusion. Living in delusion. The delusional people, the silly people. Well, you spend time airing Puff out. Hey, girl. Oh, chatty patty sissy. That's what y'all need to start doing. Start calling these dudes what they are. Sissies. I got my focus. That is my focus right now. That's a sissy. That's a sissy. A sissy man. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. These sissy men that we got. Hey girl. These sissy men. I'm a man of color. Yo soy cubano la moreno ahí, tú sabes claro. Okay? Believe that. Very few, if any, men of color donate to $STRINGERBELL8. That's Stringer Bell 80. If I'm wrong, hit it right now. Stringer Bell 80. And whoever does, I'm shouting you out in the comments. This is the problem. These same punk men of color don't ever go into the neighborhood and say, yo, can I do the help? Or here's a little bread. I remember this lady. I'm going to say her name, Miss Darlene. I used to hang in the projects every year. Miss Darlene used to have a cookout. It used to be her mother, and her son, who was my homeboy and still my homeboy to this day. He riding around here somewhere. I don't know where yet, but shout out to you. She used to put money together, and everybody that was trapper, whatever out there had to donate some money towards the food. Once they did that, we had to cook out for the evening, go well into the night. We got fireworks. All this is in the PJs. And you know why she was able to do that? Because she was a woman and she was a leader and she was from the hood in Philly. You see what I'm saying? You won't see those same men do that. No, those same men right now as we speak, and some of them probably watching me in the project hallway waiting for a cut to come through, whatever, whatever. I know that I live this. Stop pretending. You want to talk about it in music, but we can't talk about it here? Huh? No, we're going to talk about it here. And them same men will walk through them projects with brand new shoes on, everything like that, whatever, whatever, looking fly, jewelry on, everything, new car, everything. But there ain't no food in the refrigerator. There's kids in the neighborhood that they got to wait for white folks to come through with book bags and all that shit, or whatever philanthropic group outside of blacks and Spanish people to make them and make that happen with the kids' book bags. Tell me I'm lying. Any parents out here know any donation drives they have, book bags and everything like that? Let me know. Huh? Any of y'all? Yeah, must be hitting the chord. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Every year, it's always got to be the white man to come save somebody. But you silly, greedy, narcissistic, sicko, delusional group of culture that exists now are bigger cloud chasers out to white people than you've ever been in your whole entire life. And I'm here to wake you up from it. You know why I know? Because I sat back for years and watched it happen. And I didn't say nothing because of who I was attached to. Now I'm telling you the truth. And you still don't want to hear it. You still are going to hop off of here, many of y'all. They're going to go find the latest blogger. Or you're going to find Joe Buttons, donate $200 to Joe Budden. Joe Budden's a multimillionaire who drives a Maserati. Why are you donating $200 to Joe Budden? You'll notice ain't nobody donating no $200 to me. I'm in the shelter. This is the mentality of black people nowadays. And it was co-created by older black people and racist white men. And y'all are adhering to the program perfectly. And you don't get it. You just don't get it. And it's sick as my stomach at this point that y'all don't get it. I can sit here all day long, and I want to say this because, like I said, I keep my word. Samantha Long, thank you very much, sister. I appreciate that. Samantha Long was the only person who sent me $20. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. I'm going to go get lunch or something like that. I don't expect anybody on here that's African American to donate to me. Why? Because, one, I'm just going to end it with this. I don't expect anybody on here African American to donate to me, specifically the men. The men are weak. You understand? Majority of them run around like sissies. They encourage shootings like King Von. They encourage shootings that happen with Mo 3. They encourage shootings that happen with a lot of people. But I can guarantee you, had I been Joe Budden, had I been Lord Jamal, or any of these other multi-million-dollar people that these same donators, because of their clout perspective, donate to $100, $200. What sense does it make to donate $200 to a multi-millionaire? But not donate $200 to a dude that's in a homeless shelter trying to take yourself out of homeless shelter because I don't want to deal with the white system, which you heard somebody on my page tell you the exact same thing that I told you, that nobody's leaving out. There are 10 men in there right now with us. We are overcapacitated, and out of those 10 men, only one has a job. Why? Because the current climate right now in this town that I'm in. That's why I need to leave this town ASAP, not tomorrow. There's no job. The jobs out here are 4 to 6 hours because of the COVID thing that's going on in the tri-state. If you do not know, our bars are now shutting down at 8:30. They have to be fully closed by 10. So you need to start doing the breakdown then. All right? I've done my part. And if you want to deal with me, you want to donate to money, whatever. Either way it go, I'll be back. But one thing I do want to say is this. For all you miserable, sicko, gossip hound, chatty, chop about everything, for y'all, there should be a whole coup against a lot of people that's online. I mean, pulling up at their house, dragging them out. Let's film that. Let's film that. Let's film dragging a couple bloggers and saying dumb shit. Let's drag them up out the crib and just... And if you ever talk about this again, or put influence on black children getting killed again, we're going to stomp you out again. This should be the mentality that has rectified the nation, not only the nation, but the music. But so many times, you will not see that because it takes a gumption. It takes a callus almost to actually initiate and do that. And a lot of these guys don't have that. Instead, they prefer drama. King Von is drama. Let me tell you what the average cat said about when King Von got killed. I'm gonna roll this out. I'm gonna tell you about all three of them, and then I'm gonna leave. And like I said, the donation link is below. STRINGERBELL80. But honestly and truly, I'm about to change the format. Because when I get people that come in and do that or whatever, the format here is getting ready to change severely because I have to depend on, when I come live, I've been live for an hour and a half now. I have to depend on a residual income. You understand what I'm saying? To survive right now. I'm trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even eat right yesterday. You know what I mean? But it's nothing. 3 days in a row it rained out here. And if it wasn't for my white homegirl inviting me to her house, I wouldn't have had nowhere to go. She said, come on through, man. It's raining outside. I just seen you walking. So shout out to my homegirl, Italiana. You know what I mean? For that. I'm not going to say her name. I don't get into saying people's names, but she knows who she is, and she's a subscriber because I bought her here. King Von got shot. It wasn't, oh my God, man, that's terrible. What can we do? Let's start a conversation. Let's get some solutions out there. Let's talk about it. Nobody was looking for a solution. No, they were caught up in the satire and the salacious of King Von getting killed, as they always do. Not even 2 years ago, I saw this video of this other rapper that got killed in Chicago. And he was literally on the ground, gasping for air as he was dying. And instead of anybody except for one black woman, one smart black woman, she was the only person who went over there and consoled that boy as he was dying. And I watched that video. I watched it 2 or 3 times, and I said, I don't have no kids, but what if that was my son? What if that was my nephew, whoever? And nobody cared. Both 3 got killed. They talking more about how he got shot in the back of the head and how he was laying down and circulated the pictures around, just like they did King Von when he died, and somebody took a picture of him in the morgue and circulated it around. This is the mentality of y'all now. Y'all living in delusion. And if you ever was slaves, I'm trying to tell you that you have fully indoctrinated yourself into the matrix, back into slavery, and right now the mission is eliminate your kids so you don't have no future. And if you're older, especially, you're not going to have any more children anyway. So now I drive down the numbers even more. The ones after that, let's mix them and match them with different races. We'll create a different race. There's a mission to eradicate you. Slowly, but a mission to eradicate you. And most of you are playing right along with it. I'll be back later. I would hope that I can get to the heights of Joe Budden and Lord Jamar and get my own cash apps, just like so many of them have with the information I have given. It's $ STRINGERBELL80. And if you make a donation, I'm shouting you out on here, as I should be doing with most of y'all, and that's why I did it with that. But in an hour and a half, $20. In 25 minutes, $200 to Joe Budden. A multi-billionaire who drives a Maserati, a white Maserati at that. But shout out to Jersey and Joe. We not hating. I'm just shouting out the obvious. Stop your babies from dying in the street, y'all. I'll be back later. Links are in the description. $STRINGER. And I just want to BELL80. And I just want to shout out everybody that came here. Inga Vazat. Thank you, mama. Facts. I'm going to end this when my battery dies, y'all. But I will read it off. And I'll see y'all in a little bit. But I'm at 3%. And I can't read all of them. It's going to cut off for me. Later, guys.